think we underestimate just how much time we have in our lives to do something truly great. And it takes a lot of introspection, a lot of reflection to be able to figure out what it is that we're willing to do, what it is that we want to do that is great, what it is that we're willing to offer the world. Bunch of burbs coming up. Let's slow down for the burbs. Let's slow down for the burbs. Please move, burbs. Please move, burbs. Wow. Beautiful. So I'm starting a new stage in my life, in my career. I'm beginning my first year of being an educator, being a teacher, teaching dual language science. And one of the really cool things that I noticed in my new educator trainings was one of the other new educators is going to be teaching American Sign Language at a high school nearby. And at this meeting, they had some interpreters, doing ASL as the presenter was giving all of their instruction and everything. And it made me realize just how often sometimes we take for granted the most basic of things, and how hard we really have to work to push for our dreams, the things that we love, the things that we aspire to, and the things that we hope for. It requires a lot more of us than sometimes we are willing to give. a lot more than we're willing to admit to ourselves that we need to be giving. And the reason I say that is this thing has no torque, so we got to downshift for any sort of incline. But yeah, circling back to my thought, oftentimes what we would like to accomplish, our dreams, our hopes, our aspirations, they require a lot more of us than we realize we need to give, and oftentimes than we're willing to give. A little bit of traffic. That's all right though, we're just cruising. And I think personally, one of the greatest joys in life that we can ever experience, and this applies to people of all different backgrounds or trajectories in life, one of the best things that we can experience is to get lost in the work, to get lost in the grind. And that looks different for everyone in whatever goals or aspirations you might have. But if we really want to achieve our dreams, achieve the things that we want in life, we're gonna have to be putting more effort in than we are currently now. And maybe that doesn't apply to everyone. Maybe people are really putting in the effort right now and you're like, hey, I'm grinding right now. Like I'm putting in as much effort as possible. And that might be true for some of you. But I find that for a lot of us, we have an extra gear, an extra level of energy, an extra level of concentration that we're able to give. I probably should have two hands on the wheel, but I'm just kind of relaxing. And oftentimes, we sacrifice growth for comfort. You know, oftentimes it's easier to get home after work, to sit down, scroll on whatever your social media platform of choice is, and just decompress in that way. And there's nothing wrong with some good decompression. I think it's important, but I think we underestimate just how much time we have in our lives to do something truly great. And it takes a lot of introspection, a lot of reflection to be able to figure out what it is that we're willing to do, what it is that we want to do that is great, what it is that we're willing to offer the world. And that's an ongoing process. I feel like I'm constantly in a state of midlife crisis, you know, figuring out what it is that I want to do. Let's keep going straight, actually. Take a different route. So I don't think there's any shame in, not always knowing exactly what the next thing is. What's the next mountain you have to climb? What do you have to keep pushing for? I think that's a natural thing to, kind of be in the process of discovery. And some of you are lucky and have very much your purpose defined. You get up in the morning, you know exactly what it is that you have to do every day to achieve the life that you want. And I'm envious of you. If that's the case, I'm envious of you. There's a lot of things that I love in life, and what are we But I think there is an innate responsibility within each of us to, when we grasp on that little bit of purpose that we have in life, when we find those moments that we know what we're supposed to be doing, to put everything that we have into that venture, to put everything we have into that exploration. And I think a lot of times, especially in places of comfort, I'll use myself as an example. I don't have really much money by any means, but I would describe myself as, a person that's been extremely blessed in their life. There's not too many times where I can recall not having access to enough food, or worried about being, homeless, living on the street, something of that nature. There's been plenty of times where things have been stressful, and I've had to push myself, but those are the times where you have the most growth. In education, we talk about zones of proximal development, and the optimal place to be in your life is in a zone where you're experiencing a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of pressure. Not everything is easy. And there's also that, extreme where it's a little bit too much of pressure, where you fold and you become overcome by the stressors of life. But if you're in a place of comfort right now, if you're in a place where you're kind of maybe stuck in life, or you're sitting pretty, find what that purpose is for each of you. Find where that next mountain is to climb. Find where it starts to get uncomfortable. We hate that. I hate that. Right now, I'm kind of in that zone of uncomfort. Stepping into a role as a first-year educator and, teaching 142 students. I don't doubt that in a year's time, I'll be much more comfortable. Things that are easy were once difficult. And that's what this life is about. It's about expanding our capacity, our ability to do things, to act, to create, to explore. And I don't know, that's the way I like to live my life. Let's turn right here. I don't know where I'm going. Anyway, just a couple of thoughts I had today. Don't be afraid of that zone of proximal development. Don't be afraid of that zone of discomfort. All the best things in life come after we push ourselves. So I guess that's my 2 cents for today. Push yourselves a little bit. That's nothing monumental, but I think some of the greatest advice that I've ever received in life has always been something that hasn't appeared too monumental on the surface. So anyway, I hope you all are doing well. Life can be tough. Life can be discouraging. Lean on those things that bring you that purpose, bring you that measure of joy, that help you get up in the morning. And if you got a fun little car, redline it every once in a while. Anyway, hope y'all are doing great. Love you all. Keep pushing forward. Peace out.